You know, for someone that enjoys reading scary books and watching scary movies and going into haunted houses and all this, I still do have an absurd discomfort with being alone in the dark. Welcome to Rumble Book Club. I'm your host, Michael Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about interesting books I've read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like the show, you like the content, you like the books that I talk about, or maybe you just get the heebie-jeebies from the dark too, you've come to the right place, my friend. You can follow us on Twitter, Gitter, TikTok, and Parler, or you can subscribe right down below on YouTube and Rumble. But more importantly, be a part of the conversation. Let us know what you think about the show. Hit that little bell. That way you can be notified whenever the next episode comes out. And share these videos with your friends. Be a part of the conversation. Today we're going to take a look at a really cool book that I finished about a year ago. And I'm glad I did because now I get to share it with you. Today we're going to take a look at The Haunted by Bentley Little. This is a classic haunted house story brought into the modern day. I think it's very well done, despite the fact that it is, again, somewhat of a replica of other haunted house stories that have come before it. Let's start with the aesthetics. So it is very creepy and in a very well shot image here. You see kind of this really dark and sinister picture with these hands kind of crawling out of the darkness. But it does get a little busy with the combination of, you got the author, the title, you've got this right here, the accolades up on top, and then here's this quote by Stephen King. Apparently he really enjoyed the work as well. So it does make for a little bit busy of a cover, but again, the cover is for the most part well done. So as far as the aesthetics, 7 out of 10. Now let's look at the readability. Little writes without any flourish or chewing on the furniture and keeps your eyes and ears kind of engaged through the storytelling process. Bentley has a solid and believable dialogue, and the pace for the action and the storyline are very brisk without being rushed. So as far as the readability, perfect score, 10 out of 10. Now let's look at the content. The Haunted is a simple story of a couple, Julian and Claire Perry, and their 2 children, Megan and James, who find a good deal on a home in an older and more historic part of the city. Almost immediately, they begin to experience tremors in their peaceful life, which begin to pick up steam as time goes on, the more time they spend in the house, in the presence of this evil thing. Now, neighbors immediately are suspicious. They're highly reluctant to come by. At one point, they actually host a party with some new friends that they make from that area, and the party starts off well and then immediately falls off the table after, this horrible thing starts to happen. People's behavior starts to become bizarre. There's a ghost sighting there. It gets really dark really fast. Friends of kids that are friends of James and Megan become frightened during sleepovers. At one case, one of James's friends absolutely refuses to come back and even asks to be taken home because of this horrible dream he has that he just can't get over. Megan begins to receive really disturbing and lurid texts. So whatever evil entity, it's not just kind of this old school seeing sightings of ghosts and demons. It's also infesting, kind of this modern day aspect of their lives. James begins to have nightmares and begins to enter this kind of fugue state where he's lured into the backyard, and he constantly gets called literally into the ground. He starts digging and going deeper and deeper into the ground. It's kind of frightening. And Claire constantly feels eyes on her at all times, and even the marital habits of Julian and Claire become increasingly aggressive. And there are parts of the book that can be extremely sexually graphic, so I wouldn't recommend this for kids or immature readers. So that part does get a little bizarre. But as the momentum of the evil in the house begins to pick up, Claire and Julian's efforts to find out more about the dark history of the house and the area and what's specifically going on with this town and even the entire street, this entire area seems to be rotten to the core, with the house itself being kind of the bullseye of this evilness. But as they're trying to find out more about this history, the house begins to kind of hamper their efforts. Because what they find out is whatever evil entity is in this house, whatever demonic possession has it does have a sense of omnipotence. It can read their thoughts, which makes it even more frightening. And there are some really great moments in the book that really keep you gripping the pages. And I think overall it just gives you a good old-fashioned case of the shivers. I think it's fantastic. The story does follow a fairly predictable track, but I would argue that most classic stories do. because this is modeled after those, I would give it a pass for that. So as far as the content goes, very solid score, 8 out of 10. I found this book at Target. It was sold there. It probably still is, to my knowledge, and you might even be able to get it at Barnes & Noble or get it online if you don't have a store available to you. The book was gifted to me. Great little book. I think it's a good fireside read. You should be able to read through it pretty quickly. Again, the book is The Haunted by Bentley Little. Go out and get yourself a copy. Thanks for watching, everybody, and go read something.